What's poppin', y'all? We finally got Kendrick Lamar's real first ever one-on-one diss track. And this is something that I was pontificating on in a previous video that I did sometime this week, where I said a lot of people are gassing Kendrick Lamar, acting like he's this huge boogeyman when we haven't really seen him tested and how he would react. This wasn't me siding with Drake by any means, but it was just to really temper our expectations and not put someone on too high of a pedestal like what a bunch of people have been doing with Drake as of late. So Kendrick Lamar comes out of nowhere, drops this track, didn't leak it to anybody, didn't give anyone heads up, just drops it on his YouTube channel. It comes on streaming services a bit later. So off rip, Kendrick Lamar is confident in his work. And he's not trying to test the water. He's like, hey, this is a song, it's out. He drops it with the title Euphoria with a dictionary definition, and a bunch of people have come up with meanings for that, some alluding to the TV show Euphoria that Drake was a producer on. I'm not going to get too much into like breaking down lyrics. That's just not my thing. Like, do that for yourself, or someone else will do it for you, and they'll break them down a lot. But one thing that I do want to cover is one of the tweets that I said, where I said I wasn't really expecting, or I said most of us aren't expecting a Kendrick Lamar response to sound the way that it did. This was my first listen when I tweeted this out, and I said this is without giving an opinion, because the first try I was like, whoa, this is off a little bit, especially when you just hear the intro. You kind of have this expectation of what you think a diss record is going to sound like in comparison to all Kendrick Lamar records in general, and in comparison to other diss records we've seen, with the energy that Drake brought on Tailor Made Freestyle, as well as the initial song, which was the initial response to Like That, which was Push Ups. And I think that's part of the brilliance of Kendrick Lamar's artistry, where he's giving you something unexpected, even from the sound, the beat switches. After a couple of listens, I've listened to the song at least 15, 20 times today. I made sure I just listened to it again. It got better over time. Not only that, Kendrick Lamar, as well as Drake, when it comes to these diss records, you can't just listen to it once, twice, without actually analyzing it. Like, when it comes to beef, diss records, especially between these two rappers, you need to sit down, you need to listen to the lyrics. Honestly, you might need to have the lyrics up and read them, because your brain is just capable of finding like connections between things with text way better than just auditory. So Kendrick Lamar cooks on this track. The song is amazing. Off rip, anybody that says this song is whack, mid, weak, or God forbid, trash is just a dunce. Just write them off. Take that person's name, put them on a list. No naughty list, no Diddy, nothing like that. But just put them on a list and say, I'm going to continuously disregard this person's opinion until the end of time. That's all you have to do, because you can't even say the song is musically trash. Now, some people will say, man, that Drake song is bumping. Like, okay, and the Drake push-up song was good. Now, if you were to ask me who gets this round, or who gets this, I gotta give it to Kendrick Lamar. Initially, I will say, first listen, I was like, okay, I enjoy push-ups as a song more. But the more I listen to this track, it's good. It does have the replay value. You just have to get accustomed to it. There are so many good lines on here. There are a lot of good quotables. And now I think we can shift over and address a little bit the takes and the angles that Kendrick Lamar took on here, which is brilliant. And I think the main, not hate, but the main gripe that Kendrick Lamar fans, or maybe Kendrick Lamar has himself with Drake, is that he doesn't like what he represents, or feels what he represents is phony. So I feel like Kendrick Lamar is taking up the mantle and representation of virtue, which is not to be confused with virtue signaling. Two different things. Virtue, like confidence, like honesty, like I don't think confidence is a virtue actually, but for example, honesty is one. Integrity is another. Like, these things that people respect, that are kind of like these immutable virtues. And for example, he's talking about family, raising his kids. He's talking about not really caring about fame. He's talking about, Tupac turning in his grave. I will say, me, personally, I enjoyed the Tailor Made track. I like the move that Drake did with the AI Tupac. I liked it. However, that doesn't change the fact that purists, like those that look at hip hop for what it is and aren't really looking at like forward thinking, for example, like the people that hated on auto-tune, they're the same people that would hate on the move with AI Pac. And I do understand the angle of people being upset with AI Pac, because they're like, hey, we don't even know if Pac would have liked Drake or what he represents. So that's one angle, and I don't disagree with that person. I just like the move. Now, if the move is morally correct or not, I didn't really factor in too much to that when it came to my opinion, which is it's a smart, creative move. So Kendrick Lamar is attacking that. He takes a little bit of shots when it comes to Drake's. I think the real one is the one when he talks about, we don't even like the chicks that you mess with. And I think that hits Drake a little bit different because everyone's like, yeah, man, Drake gets all the bad hoes. All the hoes love Drake. And Kendrick is just saying, yeah, you could have all these hoes, but we don't even want the type of chicks you want. Like, we want mothers, we want wives. And neither of those things is what Drake has. I mean, we saw who he got pregnant. And that was an accident, too. It's not like he intentionally wanted to get her pregnant. This entire track felt like Kendrick Lamar was playing with Drake. You ever see a cat and it's playing with a mouse? And they don't, eat the mouse right away. They damn near torture the thing. They let it think it's going to run away. They grab it again. They toy with it. They pretty much torture the thing until it's beaten down, its spirit's done, and then it takes it out of its misery after it's maximized its misery. It's crazy how ruthless nature can be. And it felt like Kendrick Lamar here, he was just testing. He was slapping Drake around like a little kid. And I think Kendrick Lamar really has the strong angle here because what are you going to compare? Kendrick has more respect. That just is what it is. I think Rick Ross, is integral to this beef because Rick Ross, I would say, pierced the armor. Like the BBL Drizzy, white boys, you wanted to hang out with us. That pierced the armor of Drake, which left Kendrick Lamar now to be able to actually deal the wounds. Because people are going to look at Drake differently now, especially clips are coming out. They're like, yo, this guy's talking all, not just this street talk, but this hip hop talk. They're like, yo, you went to a Jewish school. You didn't even just go to public school. So it's not like people will say initially the Canada thing, which let's keep it a buck. Canada is not dangerous. Canada is not tough. Sure, there are areas of Canada, Toronto, maybe some areas of BC as well, small areas where there is crime and they're tweaking out over there. They're wilding. Yes, but that's not the representation of Canada as a whole. Majority of Canada, safe, nice people. But even in that, Drake didn't grow up with those people. Drake was talking about, he was in this really nice neighborhood. And he said his mom made sure they lived in this nice Jewish neighborhood. So he lived in a nice area. Sure, he didn't have a ton of money, but he lived in a nice area, went to nice schools, and didn't really grow up a hip hop lifestyle or even remotely close to hip hop. I think he was a fan of it, of course. And that's not to take away from his musical talent, but Kendrick Lamar is born and bred hip hop, not only that, but in America, the nation of hip hop, where it was born. So there's always this legitimacy that Kendrick Lamar has that Drake can never really get. And I think Rick Ross had to be the guy to kind of shine a light on it because it might have come off too haterish if Kendrick Lamar did it first. The criticisms that I've heard about this track are largely nonsensical, which is, oh man, he just put a bunch of tweets together. What are you talking about? And people want you to dig into someone's life and find some bombshell that nobody's ever talked about. There are millions, there are tens of thousands, we'll say maybe tens of thousands of people that are actively putting out information about Drake and Kendrick Lamar. There's nothing that one person is going to be able to dig up that they haven't already. Also, what the hell did Drake talk about? He said he wears a size 6. He says he's short. There's nothing that Drake said that was particularly scathing or new. He was trying to come at Kendrick's wife, which Kendrick shut that down immediately. He's like, yeah, you want to lie about that? Go ahead. So if Drake has to make up lies, and he's not outright lying, but he's alluding to things and he knows how people will take that and run with it. So I wouldn't say he's directly spreading a lie with that line, but he knows what he's doing. And Kendrick Lamar knows that. So he's shutting that down. So what did Drake really come with? If we're talking about, new information that's got to be groundbreaking for this to be considered a good diss. Nah. The thing is, it is advantageous when you get to reply second. I will say that I don't know if the person that replies second always is more favored. Because if you drop some heat, you drop some heat. If this was whack, especially with the time that had elapsed, Kendrick Lamar would have gotten a lot of criticism. But he delivered. This song, great song. I would say Kendrick Lamar definitely took the better of these two tracks. And some will say, well, in push-ups, Drake addressed all these other people. Well, he didn't have to. He could have just came at Kendrick alone, but Kendrick is one of those people it's very difficult to diss. For instance, Drake, his whole life is really out there. He puts a lot of stuff out there. He's a celebrity. Kendrick Lamar is a celebrity in the sense that his music and work precedes him. But Kendrick Lamar is not doing the most. There's not too much information on Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar's circle is very small. You don't know he's dropping until he's ready to drop. There's no rumors that come out about Kendrick Lamar. Therefore, it makes it way harder to diss him. Same thing with J. Cole. I would say prior to this J. Fold situation that we had, it was hard to diss J. Cole. How do you diss him? Oh, hey, you're riding around bicycles in New York. What, are you going to call him broke? He's not broke. He doesn't have to do that. What are you going to say? Oh, I think he's like married and got kids. Oh, you're raising a family. Okay. There wasn't much material to come at J. Cole. Maybe you could come at him for like songs like, oh, you've got certain songs that like let Nas down maybe or something like that. But if someone tried to diss J. Cole, it would be tough. Same thing with Kendrick Lamar in the sense that, what do you even diss Kendrick Lamar? That's the thing that I think, I wouldn't say Drake was grasping at straws, but for Drake, he had to say stuff like, yo, pipsqueak, size 6, this and that, because there just isn't much about Kendrick. And maybe he has some stuff that we don't know about, but Kendrick's image is just so squeaky clean and respectable. And it's not because he's trying to be that way, like politically. He's just someone that doesn't really care too much about the fame. But I will say one of my favorite lines, or a favorite couple of lines, is when he comes at J. Fold and Drake. And this is the funny thing. People are like, man, J. Fold fans, they were in my comment section talking about, nah, man, they're cool, they're friends. Like, that's why he didn't want to diss him. That's why he took his diss back. Oh yeah. They definitely got on the phone and patched it up, right? That's why Kendrick Lamar took aim at him in this track. Now J. Fold looking like a goofy. So funny. It's so funny. Man. And I mean, he even said it. He said, what did he say? The bar was something about that they're hugging on stage. He said, it's 3 goats left, and I seen 2 of them kissing and hugging on stage. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Cole and Aubrey know I'm selfish. The crown is heavy. I pray they my real friends. If not, I'm YNW Melly. Just smoking on both of them. I like this. J. Fold, this is the casket. Nails are coming in the coffin right now. J. Fold apologized for nothing. He apologized. He was an injured antelope. And Kendrick Lamar just walked over him, pointed the pistol at his head, and just took him out of his misery, ended him right here. He didn't give him like a dap. He didn't pick him up after he was on the ground, nothing. He said, yeah, you apologized, you understood, I have the crown, and not even thank you for that. Good. You better act right, or else I'm going to have to come at you too, a little bit harder. No Diddy. Pause. This is great. This is lovely. I'm not going to put Drake on the whole, like, you got to reply super fast. I kind of like when these things are more drawn out. You get more time to listen to a track. You get more time to analyze a track. You get to sit with the music. This whole, like, they've got to reply in 1 to 3 days. Like, give them 2 weeks, especially now, right? We've seen both of them reply now. They can take their time. We get better music at the end of it, and hip-hop stays interesting for a longer period of time. I do not want to go back to the dark ages, which was like the last 6, 7, 8, 9 months where, man, we're grasping for anything. I'm out here having to take breaks when I don't even want to. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.